Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Journey Within, our Sunday morning service. My name is Minister Bonnie Grossman, and I thank you so much for joining us this cloudy Sunday morning. With us this morning is Reverend Joe Shiel. Reverend Joe is a pastor of the Journey Within and is a compassionate minister, highly acclaimed evidential medium, spirit portrait artist, and spiritual teacher, internationally known for his accuracy, integrity, and commitment to others. Reverend Joe devotes his life to the service of spirit and those seeking love, healing, and spiritual growth. We begin our services with spiritual healing. Spiritual healing is the laying on of hands in prayer to be used in conjunction with, never instead of, medical attention or advice. We will be joined today with our healers, and we will be receiving distant healing for those in need, and we will be sending healing to everyone here. We are so grateful for our volunteer healers who are with us today and for their dedication as healers. If you would like to request healing for somebody, please put their first name and last initial in the chat box. These names will be forwarded to our healers for absentee healing. You may also call the church or email us if there is anyone during the week who you would like to request healing for, including pets, the planet, or global circumstances. We will open with prayer, followed by a period of quiet meditation. If you would like to participate in the healing, please quiet your mind, focus on your breathing, and as you inhale, feel yourself boosting your own immune system, igniting the inner healer within. Please close your eyes and join me in prayer. I ask the unseen force of divine love to remove all obstacles from all our minds and bodies, and to restore us to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity, in all trust, in all faith and honesty. And I will do my part as well to send that love to the places within me that need healing. I ask this great unseen healing force to help everyone here present and those who are absent, who are in need of healing as well, to help restore them to perfect health, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. I put this trust in the love and power of our loving God. Amen. Please keep your eyes closed during the healing music. As we bring our healing to a close, we will continue to pray for all those in need of love, of a hug, of feeling wanted, and of a deep healing. Amen. And it is my pleasure now to once again introduce Reverend Joseph Shiel to say our opening prayer, which will be followed by a piece of music. You're muted, Joe.
There I am. Sorry. A little technical difficulties here, obviously. Thank you, Bonnie, for all you do for the church, and we appreciate you so much. And thank you, everybody, for being here. And this morning, I would just like to say, I pray that the light of God, the light of love, sits upon your soul and illuminates any of the darkened or shadowed corners of pain, despair, unrest in your life. That when the light comes in all that is new, that you be inspired, loved, and cared for in all that you do. That you feel the significance of who you are in this lifetime and life to come. That you know that Spirit is all around you and that holds you, loves you, guides you to peace, to tranquility, to understanding, and to fellow love. I thank you all for being here today. And I thank you all for the continued effort of becoming better and more aware of the goodness of your soul. Amen.
It is my pleasure once again to introduce our Reverend Joseph Shiel and ask him to please do the address.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you very much, everybody. And once again, that's a great song. Thanks for picking that. It's great. You know, the word that comes to mind is fortitude, just that ability to get up again and get up and move again, to get up and live again, and for us to continue to make the efforts and make the tries. I was interested yesterday. I was doing a ministerial program for some of our new ministers, and one of them had mentioned that a reverend somewhere else in the country, at a church somewhere else in the country, she'd used the word discernment, and the reverend kind of slammed her for it and said, you know, that's not a word we use in spiritualism. That's a Catholic word. And that would put her back and kind of upset her just a bit, because she didn't understand where she was coming from. But I'm here to set the record straight, I guess, today. I want to talk about a little bit about part of my talk that I did in the Church of Journey Within on Easter, but as well as this particular comment that was made. I really want everybody to understand that discernment is very much a word that we use, very much a word that we need to understand, and very much a word that comes to importance within spiritualism. Discernment means making an informed soul decision for oneself. It really means to get as much information, to educate oneself, to bring oneself to understanding, and make clear decisions for one's own soul and one's own path. I don't know what better word there could be for following our principles and really kind of coming to know ourselves, knowing our higher self, knowing the life beyond this life, knowing where we're going and what this is all about, and knowing the importance of everyday living with one another. So I will constantly discern as a spiritualist, not as a Catholic, but as a spiritualist. A spiritualist is one who is, we talk about it being a real religion. What's the difference between us and the old religions, if you will? We're a very new and young religion. And as a new and young religion, well under 200 years old, we have to discern a lot. We have to discern a lot of where are we going with all of this? What are we doing with all of this? And how can we help each other to move forward in this lifetime? How can we help the world to open its mind, its hearts, its understanding, so that there's a better acceptance of the diversities of life, of the challenges of life, of the different cultures of life? You know, I kind of chose this little faux background today because it's kind of a traditional church window, but it doesn't have anything to script, if you will. And I chose it because some of the ancient understandings of the past are come into the day of modern day spiritualism. Modern day spiritualism celebrates some of the highest holidays in a much more reverent way than even they do. So when we talk about, say, Easter, we talk about the reappearance of life, if you will, the coming out of the tomb, coming out of the darkness, of 3 days, of numbers and numerology, of all the synchronicities of time, of pushing away a stone, of rolling away a stone, of the round stone, of all these different symbolic things that are mentioned in a Bible as if it's like just rote. But are we that one? Are we the one that can see someone on the road of Damascus? Or are we the one that can come again, that can rise again? Are we the master? Or is there a master that teaches us? Are we open to that? Who would believe the story of Easter more than a spiritualist? That there's actually life beyond this life, that actually we could come and say hello, that we could actually come to the upper room and show our hands and say, look what happened to me. Who other than a spiritualist that believes in mediumship, believes in the continuity of life, and believes in the conversation between us and the other world is very, very much a real thing? Who would believe that more than us? Who would accept that wonderful, beautiful story more than we would? At the same time, we, have Passover, a celebration of light, a celebration of life, a celebration of miracles. 8 days, the candle burned with the oil that would not last a whole day. And yet it lasted and lasted and lasted. A physical phenomena beyond our understanding, a physical phenomena that just gave faith, gave trust, gave hope to people in God's love for them. And who better to understand physical phenomena happening because of spiritual influence than a spiritualist? We should be celebrating these holidays just as well as our brothers and sisters in those religions, because we see it and we understand it to a point of love and caring and seeing the miracles itself, that phenomena happens all the time, that we open our eyes and our understanding and our awareness of those miracles. And when we see them, yes, celebrate them with our friends, celebrate them with the community of Passover, because it shows there is hope, there is love. God hasn't left anybody. God isn't anywhere or distinct. God is everywhere and with us. And in those miracles, it shows it even more. We also just coming through and not even finished it with Ramadan, a time of fasting during the day and of feasting in the evening and coming together and the reason for the fast is to contemplate, to come anew, just like Easter's to come anew, to have the miracle of light, to come anew, vita nova, a new life, a promise of new life, of new understanding, of new responsibility. Ramadan is contemplating oneself. What am I doing? How am I getting along? How am I loving God? How do I know God? So even in that particular faith, there's a reason and a whole month put forward to saying, okay, I'm going to catch myself up. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to suffer and sacrifice so that I can force myself to see the good in me and to see the good in my brothers and sisters in this world, to see the good and graces of God himself, herself, itself. This is a phenomenal opportunity for us to look at spiritualism as a modern day real religion. Not because we have special holidays, although we just celebrated Hydesville Day. We have a time where every moment of every day is a celebration. How good it is for us to be here on Zoom. 5 years ago, what was that? Before the pandemic, and all of a sudden we all know this. And we have an opportunity to bring the whole world together and say, look, you may think we're weird, that we do mediumship, that we do this healing, we believe in healing, but we believe in what you believe in. We believe in the continuity of life. We believe that we rise again. We rise up. We rise up to the occasion of discernment. We take the time to educate ourselves, to gather enough information, enough evidence to know this has to be real for me. We come to belief in spiritualism. We don't force it down people's throats. We don't say, this is it or else, you do that or else, you follow number 4 or you're out of here. We don't do that. What we do is we open our hearts and our minds and our education to come in, understand your special soul, who you are, the significance of you, who you are in the world, each and every one of you, no matter what the path, no matter what the struggles, no matter what the hassles, nothing in your life has been wasted when it comes to the dreams and hopes and love that you can give others. Maybe you're learning a lesson that you can pass on to someone else who's suffering even more than you are. We give of ourselves. At Journey Within, we have outreach programs that are just, they're to kind of break the mold of sitting behind gates in camps and saying, this is who we are. We're proud to be spiritualists. Why? Not an empty pride, not an ego pride, but one of almost feeling finally secure that we can know God deeply, intimately, and own it within ourselves and see it within our own being, and then have reverence and respect for it, so that we know, if I am in fact carrying a divine life from this life into the next, what will I do with this life? How will I respect this life? I recently did a grief retreat, and I said, the best thing that we can do for our loved ones that we've lost and we weep over, that we grieve to the depths of despair over, the best thing we can do is live this life well. Live it to the fullest. Don't waste a minute. Spiritualism isn't about death. It is about life. It is about Vita Nova, the new life. It is about discerning this gift that we've been given. Are we respecting it? Are we taking time for it? Are we taking time of reflection? Are we fasting and stretching ourselves just a bit to say, okay, what am I to do today, God? What would you have me do? What would the higher source have me do today? Never mind what I want to do or my confusion within my humanness and my physical restraints. How can I free the mind, free the heart, free the hope, and free others with it all to a greater mind, to a greater intelligence, to a spirit world that's been here, done this, and wants to help us to see the beauty in life itself and the continuation of that, to see that there is a path to peace, a path to love, a path to caring. As we see all these holidays, there's no mystery in the mysteries. There is no mystery. The answer is love. The answer is caring. The answer is love one another and care about one another. No matter what the hassles, no matter what the strengths, no matter what, is to step up as a community, to step up as an individual, to rise up and say, I can look at this differently. I can discern the way I see the world. I can discern what is right for my soul, my spirit, that lifts me to be a better person, to live a stronger life, to live a more honest existence, to be content within my own soul, to become a spirit of help, of caring, of illumination, of intelligence, of teaching. We all have that opportunity. Every single one of us has it. It's not always easy. It's not always a piece of cake. And yet it's so simple. Love. Simply love completely. What can I do today to love someone else completely? Would I lose a thing if I reached out and helped somebody? Would I be devastated if I help someone have a smile or a chuckle? Would I ruin my own little frail ego if I, screwed up and said I'm sorry? It's a time to understand that we do not exist in a vacuum. We do not exist alone. We in fact are connected completely, and that we have this personal responsibility to be responsible to others. We have this personal responsibility to our very soul because it belongs to all. We have a personal responsibility to see and cherish the ideas and understandings of other people, other religions, other pathways of life, because somewhere in their effort to know God, to know truth, to know what their mystery might be, is the essence of who we are as spiritualists. We are philosophers. We do the science. We want to investigate. We're open to investigation. Let's try it. Let's see if it works. For real. Let's come to know. come to know the love and caring of God. It's what makes us a true religion. It's what makes our principles a guide for life, for living, for our own souls, for our own spirit. So this week, as you go forward, I ask you, be the spiritualist. Be a good spiritualist. Discern where you're going. Discern what you're doing. Take time. Take a moment. Take 5 minutes to 7 minutes of meditation and mindfully look at where you are or where you're at and what you're doing. Make new decisions based on a better, more loving, more happy, more joyful life. Many blessings. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Joe. That was very beautiful. And it can be so rewarding to kind of go back to our traditions and to different traditions as well, as you said, and kind of reap the gifts that are there that maybe we didn't see at the time that we were involved in them.
Mhm.
And to really make use of our life and to love and to open ourselves to really examine how we are loving. It now comes to the time of our collection and announcement. There is a scan box for donations for your convenience. We appreciate all donations, great and small. You may also send in a donation or visit the church website if you are so moved to do. Divine loving spirit, you have blessed us with our home. We ask you to bring us the means of keeping it alive and growing. We give thanks to all the gifts, great and small. Amen. There is the scan box on the screen for those who would like to become a member of our center as well. There is that option. You may also, for those who live in the area, drop off food at the Journey Within for our local food pantry. You can leave it right at the door of the church. Please, no glass or no perishable food. And we are so thankful for all the contributions that we receive each week. Please join us for our Monday morning live service at the Journey Within at 10 a.m. if you are able. And we have online Wednesday services at 7:30 for our healing and message. And Sunday evenings is our student service at 6:30 p.m. At this time, we would like to thank all of our volunteers, and it is through your effort that our community continues to thrive, to develop and grow. And a special thanks to our Reverend Karen and Reverend Patty, because they are at every service. They're working nights and days, weekends, and do so much work that most of us, and probably all of us, are unaware of their tireless commitment. And now comes for our announcement. On April 21st, there are intuitive reading workshops with Simone Key. April 22nd, animal communication and the aura with Lillian Steiner. There is also a demonstration of mediumship in person with Joseph Shiel and the advanced student medium at the Journey Within. And in person as well, there was a demonstration of mediumship with Reverend Joseph and Laura Wooster. April 28th, there is the professional medium course with Christine Morgan from Australia. We now come to our time for demonstration of mediumship. As a spiritualist church, we believe that life is continuous. And through our demonstration of mediumship, we seek to reunite those here with those who have crossed over. If you can take 90 to 100% of the evidence, please raise your hand. Please test it right now. Thank you. We see it's working. We just want to make sure. Thank you so much. You could put your hands down. If you could take the initial pieces of evidence, but then the rest you cannot take, please lower your hand so we could get to the recipient quickly. And if several people can take the information, it is up to the medium to discern the right recipient. If you are invited to speak, then please unmute yourself and come in with your voice. If you can't unmute, please type in the chat box. Only if you can't unmute. We will now have a song and message prayer in preparation for the demonstration. I invite you during the song to please think of your loved ones and ask them to come close. Because even if you don't get a message today, you will feel the presence of your loved ones near. And I will put on their song that will lead us to our prayer. I saw somebody mention Reverend Janet in the chat, and I just want to say that she loves Andrea Bocelli, so it was a very appropriate message that somebody put in remembrance of our Janet. I asked everyone to join us with our healing and message prayer. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken with morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. I now invite Reverend Joe for the beginning of the demonstration.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you for whoever mentioned Janet, because we wouldn't be doing any of this without Janet. I can assure you. I mean, my many years of knowing and loving her completely is to even do a demonstration sometimes without her is because we used to done so often together. But let me say that I'm going to switch my camera, and when I switch my camera, hopefully you will see. Just set it up here. There we go. Okay. So I will be drawing a picture of the person that I am seeing in my mind or am pressed to draw somehow. And I want you to pay attention to the information first and foremost, if you will. The information I may be talking about one person and talking about mom and drawing dad. It could happen that way. So so don't necessarily connect the picture to the information, although that happens many, many times. So that's the way we'll make the effort. And I thank you. And again, Bonnie, if you can help me with the hands, I would really appreciate it, because I'm just a little slow on the uptake when it comes to seeing those hands. So I appreciate it. Okay. I'm going to read a poem because I'm out in the woods right now at my studio, and up by Lilydale, New York, and all the flowers are coming up everywhere. So spring is here, and there's lots of little critters running around, and we're worried about the bears coming out. But there's lots of things. But I thought I would. This is a poem that I wrote at Arthur Findlay College many years ago, and it was this brand new tree that was just coming up on the walkway by the rose garden. It's called The Blossoms of Spring. The blossoms of spring dance upon the limbs of the magnolias. As the brisk breeze is chattering and sweeping, it swings and sways as I pass by. Blessing hands of a youthful tree appear like the gypsy along the road, casting spells against the cold. Give me a few more minutes, she seems to wisp and shout. Before the setting sun, her colors illuminate, licking up what's left of the burning sky. She summons in the summerland, for she casts spells against the cold heart of winter's harsh final stand. She thrashes at the gust of evening, apparently worried about a frost, screaming, I will not die. All is alive and lives. The spring is never lost. And our life is never lost. I want to start with a woman here that's with me. She is elderly. She got up in years. I do believe she's up in her high 80, 88, 89 years old. She was talking about reaching 90. I don't believe she actually did that. She's a wonderful woman. She had chopped her hair. She had beautiful hair when she was younger, and a beautiful features as well. She shows me a stunning picture of her wedding, where she was just, very, very regal and one of those long gowns. So I do believe she really had a lot of life in life, and has children here as well. She may have lost an older child along the way, and I feel like that may be. She talks about a person that was lost. somewhere in their 40s as well. So I wanted to let you know that there's a gentleman here that passed as well. So as I speak with her, she comes very close to me. I do want to talk about an angel, Angela, or angel, something like that, in the midst of all this, that is known around her somehow. And as I begin to draw her, I want to say that she's cropped her hair kind of closely, but she's lost some weight over time. However, she was never really that large. She kind of had a way about her of keeping herself just active and trim, as you will. So I do want to mention that ability of her to kind of keep that trim figure, if you will. She's smaller, on the smaller side. I would say she's about 5'2", 5'3", in height, and she's got this tremendous attitude about her. Like she would have taken care of family very strong, but she would have been very protective as well. Got a little bend in the nose. I do believe this is a as she begins to show me, she would have kept the hair very, very close, almost too close. I want to say that there is sickness at the end. She's not well. She had a couple of different things that had happened before her passing. Hospitalizations, two major hospitalizations, an operation of sorts, also, and she would have needed care when she came home. And I do think she's thanking people for helping her. I don't think she lost her hair. This doesn't seem to be a chemo type of. She just cropped it because it was cooler, it was more comfortable, and it's just the way she liked to keep it. She didn't have to fuss with it as much anymore, as she did in life. She took care of it. She took care of herself. So she shows me herself in a position where she's not that well. So I'd like to draw a prettier picture of her, because I do think she was quite pretty in life. But by the same token, she had been so sick for so long. She just shows me towards the end, so what people would remember of her. So I'm going to kind of to mention that, if you will. There's a little bit of lines in her neck, and she had weathered quite a bit that way. But as I draw her, if you would understand her, you would understand her as a mother. You would understand her also that she worked very hard in life, and she worked outside the home as well as being a homemaker. So there's a lot to do. I do think she's talking about a man named Robert around her. So I do need to mention the Robert. I don't know if that's the other man who she said died young, but she talks about that as well. I do believe that she had some skin issues because of the dryness. She had to use a cream constantly because she would just get this dry splotches on her skin, and she didn't like that, almost like a psoriasis type of thing. So she's saying even in the suffering, she was her children and her family made her very happy. Can anybody take any pieces of this so far?
We have 6 people so far.
6 people. Wow. Okay.
Do you want me to tell you their names, or do you want to?
You can let me go on a little further. I think 6 is a bit much, so I just want to make sure. I do feel like if you were to understand this woman, you'd understand some Italian background a little bit, or Middle European type of thing. She keeps talking about cardinals, and I know that's a common sign of people, but it is a very Middle European type of connection, whereas different types of birds kind of tell me different places, if you will. So I do want to mention that. I also want to say that she liked color. She's not one to wear the traditional black and the big old nun shoes, if you will. She liked her pretty shoes and things like that. But towards the end, I think her legs were giving way as she became a little bit more bony, and she said she had difficulty kind of getting around on her own. She didn't like using a walker. She didn't like using all those tools. But she's not a whiner. She's not a complainer. She would have wanted everybody else to be okay. She definitely would have had her opinions about things. She would have put me through the rakes, if you will, to find out who I was and that type of thing. But she has a tremendous amount of love and caring, and to a point of being quite boisterous when it came to things that were not right. She would have opened her her mouth and said, that's not right, don't do that. And she would have reminded everybody till the cows came home over and over again that it wasn't right until such time it changed. And so that's kind of important as well. I do want to say that there's a set of pearls that was left behind that she loved. That she says they're not the real deal, but they were one of her favorites. They held up really well. So I'm going to mention that as well. If you will also to understand this, there is a Kathy or Kate, Catherine possibly, that was also very, very close to her. So I do need to mention that name as well. And again, do we have anybody that, how many people still have their hands up?
Still 6 people. So,
okay. So give me the names, if you will.
okay, we have Annette, we have Lori, we have Kate, we have Teresa, we have Marta, and I believe one other person.
Can I speak to Teresa,
and
please?
We have Stacy as well.
Okay, thank you. Can I speak to Teresa, please?
Okay. Teresa, if you unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Teresa. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I don't know you. I can't see you, so I don't. What pieces do you understand? I'm trying to hear the sound of your voice, if I may.
She was very old when she passed. She lost a child when he was in his 40s. She kept her hair very close up against her head. She was about 5'2". She had skin issues, the little patches of dry, yeah, the little patches of dry skin. She left a set of pearls to me, and my sister is Kathy.
Okay. The reason I'm calling on you, and that is because I heard your name as well, and I hadn't said it yet. So I want to say, I believe I'm with you. I want to thank everybody else for listening, but it kind of, you seem to understand everything, correct, so far? Yeah,
there are a couple names that aren't perfect, but I understand.
You understand how they come about, right?
Yeah.
They're in life, okay.
Yes.
So I'm gonna just say to you, and she liked color, didn't she? She liked wearing flowered type.
Yes,
type
yes,
items.
she did.
And
yes,
so she's not the traditional old Italian, black dress and all that, correct?
Correct.
And I also want to say to you, she had a sense of humor that sometimes could be a bit brutal for some men.
Yes.
where she could let them know where to get off, if you will. Do you understand that? Because she had this tremendous personality. She was no dummy. She knew her stuff. She did well in school when she did have school, and later on she really kind of kept herself quite educated on her own, if you will. You understand that, correct?
Yes, very
much. She would have been very up on the local topics and the things going on. And I'm trying to make her smile here because I do want her to smile and have a way of communicating to you her love for you, because I think it's unshakable and unbreakable. Okay. I do want to mention Jimmy. Who's Jimmy?
We don't have a Jimmy. I can't think of a Jimmy.
It's okay to say no. Would you hold on to that for me, please? Because I just heard it. Now I want to talk about a D'Angelo or DiPietro or something like that? That name, yeah, last name. Is that a name
No,
of yours? Hmm?
no D'Angelo.
Okay. Or DiPietro, something like that? Would you hold on to that as well?
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to kind of mention that. And I do feel like she, do you recognize the picture?
I recognize the jacket
Hmm.
and the earrings and the little twist in her eyes. Yes.
Okay, so the eyes itself, that's
Yes.
important, okay? So I do believe I'm with you. I have the sound of your voice seems like she really wants to come through and be with you today. So I'm gonna just kind of do that. Now, um, let me go on just a little further here, okay?
Sure.
If you may, if I may. I want to say to you that there's a tremendous essence here that she would have worked very hard even outside the home. You would understand that, correct?
Yes, I would.
And you would understand that she was a force to be reckoned with when she was doing that. She would have had a lot of strength as well.
Yes.
And she talks about a teacher in the family.
Yes.
So that's quite
There are
important.
many. Yes.
Yeah, many teachers, almost like she would have known a little bit about the administration of things as well. Okay.
Yes.
So I do need to mention that. She believed in education for the kids and for all people. She talks about grandchildren as well.
Yes.
So that's very important to her. And that love comes towards you as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like she has always been around you since she's passed,
Yes.
and that she's come to see you and let herself be known. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. And I know the cardinals are typical Middle European signs of people returning, but for some reason she said it's been rare that you've seen them lately, but they will be here again soon,
Okay.
so that you'll know that she's around. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you haven't seen them lately, in other words.
No.
Okay, so I want you to know that will happen, and you'll know that this is correct.
I saw one a couple weeks ago.
Okay,
One.
so I wanted to say that they'll come around again, and you'll notice it. Okay, and not because I'm telling you to notice it, but because you just happen to see it. Okay, so be aware of it and know it then. Okay. Um, this is not her at the age she passed, which is elderly. This is a little bit younger. I'd say she was in her 60s when I have this picture. I do feel like she needed glasses, but she didn't want me to put them on. She didn't like wearing them all the time. Okay.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I'm going to do that as well. She had a phenomenal penmanship.
Yeah. Yes, she did.
She's she's
Yes.
like, I'm a scribble guy, you know.
Mhm.
She was. It's almost as if I was looking over at something I wrote, and she was like, "That's terrible."
Mhm. Yes.
Like she's correcting me that I should learn to write. Anyway, so I love her that I love her for that. Um, and is there Catholic connections here? Because she's reaching for the rosary beads I have here. So I want to mention that there's a tremendous reverence to that and Mary and that type of thing. Okay.
Very
So
deeply. Yes, very much so. Very deep.
okay. So I want to talk about that. Did she leave a statue to you as well? A small Mary statue, if you will.
She did leave a statue.
Okay.
I have two, and one is Mary. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Because she
Mhm.
it's just if nothing more, it's not as if we're showing reverence to a false god or something like that, but just it's a reminder of who we are and what we believe in. That's all.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
So I will leave you with that with light and love. God bless you. Thank you for taking
Thank
the
you, Joe.
message and know that she's there. God bless you. Peace. So, and I'm just saying it here. And if you want this, just let us know. You know, you can go to the website. We'll send it to you. Okay.
Okay.
There we go. All right. For my next contact here, I'm linking in with a young man here, and he's not the first voice that comes through, but he's almost being pushed forward by others. So there's others that met him there on the other side. I do believe he's younger. He should have had more life. He passed very, very quickly, kind of unannounced, if you will. I don't think people had a chance to say goodbye or to, and have an interaction with him at the time. So it's not like he's readying to go. I do believe this is out of the blue. He is somewhat, I don't feel like this is, I would not put the word suicide on this. I would put the word like even accidental, or this is something that happened very, very quickly that he did not see coming. I have a lot of pain at the center of my chest. So I do believe the heart let go. It's not the only thing happening, because I do feel, I feel like something's wrong with my blood, or something's in my blood throughout my body as well. So I'm feeling a little bit weird, or a little bit out of sorts. He holds himself very, very well. He's got a great sense of humor. He's got a great, he's kind of a pistol when he comes off, and he can kind of get the attention of others. He's not a wallflower. He's not the kind of kid that goes into recluse, if you will. He seems to be outgoing and enjoys music. I hear music in the background, not exactly my taste, but there are some things that he's listening to that I heard. So I want to mention that. I also want to come to the point where I'm feeling strong with him, like he was really trying to be stronger, if you will. And so physically he was working on things, if you will, or himself. He's got a great smile and a great attitude when it comes to his charism in life and how he knows people. I do want to mention Michael around him. It's not the only name around him, but that name comes in. It could be an association with my cousin, who also speaks two languages, or more than one language, I would say. And so that's the thing that comes from my friend Michael, my cousin Michael. And it may be the fact that he could be a cousin, I suppose, to someone here, because it's just the way that he brings that name in to me. I also feel like it's an association, not necessarily his name. And as I come through with this further, I'm going to begin to draw him. Can anybody understand any pieces of this so far?
You have 5 hands right now.
Jeez, 5 people. I'm so sorry for all those losses. Okay. I'm trying to get him to impress himself on me so I can see him better. So let me go on a little further, okay? I do want to mention Scott as well. That name is very much in my head, not necessarily his name, but around him. It could be a brother or something that he left behind. I also want to say that there's a sense that he's apologizing for being gone. Now, he may have had something, but not an intentional thing to do with this. Just so that seems to be important as well. Either in the wrong place at the wrong time, that type of thing. I'm going to say he shows himself well. I'm going to just give me a moment. I want to kind of make this a better drawing. And I'm kind of losing my. He's got really nice eyes. They're distinctive. And yet he shows me a sadness right now, but for being gone, but not to create sadness here, but to show that he didn't mean to go. So that's kind of how he depicts this, if you will. So I'm going to mention that. He's got a really, really great smile. Like he would have been able to get people to smile and be very comical in the way he treated things. I do feel he's way too young to go. I'm gonna. So bear with me. Don't, it gets worse before it gets better. So,
There are now 14 hands up.
14 hands. Wow, God. Let me go on a little further, okay? This young man would have been talented himself. And it's like one of these things that not only is it a shock, but it's a shame because he had a lot of talent going forward. He looks to be someone who would have, um, you know, been stronger. He's got this full neck and full place here, and he he really would have. I think he would have tried to grow a beard or grow a little bit of hair, if you will, on his face. Not quite as successful as some. So I'm not gonna put that on him yet. But I believe that he was a person that loved the outdoors. He'd love to be outdoors, do things outdoors, kind of sports of all kinds, especially personal sports like that. There's something about skiing or winter sports that he liked as well. So it's not just summer deals. He would have liked to get out and be in the mountains, be in that kind of a situation. So that seems to be important as well. I feel kind of slammed a little bit. I'm just going to slow down just a bit on the picture and everything else just for a moment here until I can get back. Do we still have 14 hands?
There are now 9.
Okay, thank you. I also want to say that there is, I know it's a common name, but my own name is being spoken. Joseph Patrick John, Joseph Patrick John. So I almost want to say Patrick is important. It could be somebody here with the name Patrick or Patricia or something like that, that's being referred to, that he wants to be in contact with. So I'm going to just kind of mention that. Do we still have 9 hands?
Now you have 10.
More. Bear with me, folks. Thank you for your patience. Now, if you're to understand this, you'd begin to understand the essence of the eyes of this picture. You may not get the jaw just right because I think he's a little slimmer, but he did have a nice square jaw. He talks about his dad. He also talks about the military. So I'm going to mention that. Not that he was in the military, but I think he might be bragging about dad here. So he may have just trying to get, to know me a little better too as well. So as I speak about him more, he's got these little dimples here. So he's a good looking kid. I want to say he's in his late teens, early 20s. I keep getting 17, which is the number that comes to my mind. And I also want to talk about the month of July as being important, either birthday, anniversary. I want to feel like there's a passing somewhere in February in the family too. That was quite important. It seems like a gentleman that may have met him on the other side. So a gentleman, a grandfather or a dad that met him on the other side when he went. So he wants to know that that's a February thing, and that would be more as he talks about it. Can you tell me again? As he talks about it, he's kind of saying that he was right there waiting for me, and so everything is okay, everything's good. So he's in a good place. And as he talks about that, I feel like I also want to talk about a Sully or a Sullivan, possibly. That comes when I start to get to the older gentleman. So, can we have any hands left, or everybody leave?
No, everyone's still here. We have 8.
8 now. Okay. Wow. Okay, so someone understands the last name of Sullivan or Sully? Somebody called Sully?
Please put your hands down if you cannot understand that last name or the name Sully in any way. Okay, we have 2 people left.
There we go. Could I hear from each of those, please?
Okay, so I'm going to unmute you, Lori and Jan. So both of you, if you could please unmute yourself. Okay, I think they both unmuted, so you could ask them.
Okay. Thank you. So we have Jan and Teresa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jan, which part of it do you understand, please? Thank you.
The name Michael was his best friend. He has a brother, Scott. He was in the service. His dad did meet him. July was significant. I'm trying to recall February, but it was really close to March, so I might be off on that.
Right.
We went to school with Sullivans.
Okay.
Definitely an outdoors person, did have a hidden talent. He was a fabulous cook, just never really put it out there.
Right.
Trying to think of all the stuff you said. His eyes were gorgeous. Everyone, he was class flirt because he had these beautiful eyes and smile. And at times I would joke with him that he kind of reminded me of Billy Joel in the younger years.
Yeah, right. Okay.
You know, so very flirtatious.
Mm-hmm.
He was a contributing factor to his death.
Okay.
To a point.
Was this an overdose of sort?
I'm trying to think of what else you said. You said so much, and I was like, it sounds so much like him.
Well, the sound of your voice sounds familiar to me, so let's just continue. I'm just going to give Teresa a chance to talk as well. So
Lori.
So Lori, just stay with it. Or is it Lori? Okay, so Jan, stay with me, and Lori, can you speak then, please?
Yes, hi. This would be my brother Joseph. We have very close family friends, the Sullivans, that we grew up with. His closest friend in the military was Michael. My grandpa died, I think it was late February, very close to him. He may have been the one who met him. He did die of an overdose. He was so charismatic, gorgeous smile, little fuzz on the face.
Yeah.
Everything you said, I can't even hold on to more than that.
Do you recognize the picture?
The eyes.
Yes. Okay. And Laura and Jan, do you recognize the picture?
The eyes, the dimples, and the hair was very close to what he had once he got out of the military.
Yeah.
And when you said the facial hair, he always had like a small, very close shaven beard when he could, or a mustache or something, but it was always kind of not full, just there.
Kind of there, kind of, right. Okay. I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm with you, Jan, and Lori. I want to thank you so much for participating, but for some reason, I feel like he met his, and Jan, you said he met his dad on the other side?
His dad went over, then shortly after, 2 years later, his mom had passed. His grandparents were there prior to him, for sure, his grandfather and grandmothers.
Okay.
And I know a few friends, and it's funny because a restaurant he used to work at is now, it turned into an Irish pub. So I was wondering if like the Sully was even part of that whole thing.
Well, definitely Irish involved here somehow. So I just need to mention that. And I'm gonna go with you, Jan. I really appreciate Lori, but I believe this belongs to you. And I'm just gonna go a little bit further if you don't mind. Okay, Jan? So
okay.
Listen to me a little further. I feel that when he's looking at me, he's showing me even a little bit younger than when he passed, but he was young when he passed. Okay. So I just feel like he keeps telling me about 27 and 27. So that's why one of the reasons I said February was 27. Okay. So I want
Well,
to
2/7 actually is my mother's birthday, and they didn't like each other.
okay.
At
Well,
all.
that's funny. Okay. Well, I want you to know that there's peace there. Okay.
Okay.
It's all good. Okay. But definitely comes in for love for you, a respect for you, appreciation for the laughs you gave him, the goodness you gave him, and for the straight talk you gave him, because he said you would always tell him the truth. So he just wants to say he appreciates that, keep up the good work, and he's with you whenever you need him. Okay. And I'm going to
Okay.
leave that with light and love. God bless you.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Bonnie, I think that brings me to a close here.
Well, thank you, Reverend Joe. Those were very inspiring messages, very beautiful. And the portraits also, the life of those eyes in both pictures was very touching.
So I'll switch the camera back so we can get back to business here. Hold on 1 second. There we go. There we go.
Okay. And
Thank
once
you so
again,
much.
if you did, if you did, the people that he was reading for, if you did want a copy of the picture, please send a message to the Journey Within and email with your address and your information. So that brings us to the end of our service for this evening. I will ask Reverend Joe to please end with a closing prayer, which will be followed by a piece of music.
Thank you, everybody, for today. Thanks for being here, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week. Oh, great Spirit, mighty God, we ask you to be with us, to sit within our hearts and our minds this week, to help us to choose what is best for all around us, for our family, for our friends, for those we work with, those we meet, for us to be the light in the world that we want the world to be, for us to be the illumination of truth all around us, for us to hold strictly to our own honesty with ourselves and with all that we meet. We thank you for all the gifts that we have, the gift of breath and every breath, the gift of life all around us, the beauty of spring, the beauty of the sky and the land. For all our pets and animals and those in the forest, we ask a blessing upon all of this for us to see and experience the beauty of life itself. And for all those who have gone before us to pave the way, who have been here, done this, and who know better, for them to touch our hearts, to lay upon our shoulders, to whisper in our ears, to let us know and encourage us to be of love. Amen. Thank you, everybody.
We thank you, everyone who joined us today, and please join us in listening to our ending song.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you. Everyone have a beautiful rest of your Sunday.
Peace.